Oh, goodness. Good morning, everybody. We are Movies with Bruce, and we're going to do a little laid back this morning. We're in the ferret room, as you can see, with all the toys behind me, and Misha, baby. We got ferrets living everywhere. All right. I wanted to tell you guys, I'll be on the air with Scotty Campbell in just a few minutes, but I want to tell you guys, I really love, and I mean love, to go to the movies. I like the experience. I like the atmosphere. Sometimes there's a surprise in the movie. I like the M&Ms and the popcorn and the Dr. Pepper and just the environment of going to the movies. I just love it. I absolutely love it. One thing that I love better than that is when I actually get to see a really, really great movie. Now, I see a lot of movies, but when I get to see a really great movie, and something you probably don't know about me, one of the things that I do, I'll take just a minute. Every once in a while, I try to do it all the time, but I don't always remember. And I'll take a moment and just stop and just close my eyes, and I'll say, Lord, thank you for this time, the time to get away from my life. Thank you for the money to come out here, and just thank you for, getting to do this. So I'm very thankful not only to get to go to the movies, but also to get to do the movie review. All right? There's one thing that makes it even better than that. It just keeps piling up, doesn't it? That's when the audience is into the movie. Now, I mean into the movie. Like the cannonball comes whistling through the sound system, and everybody's kind of like ducks. I think that's cool. Or when the bad guy jumps out from behind a bush or something. That's just, everybody screams or jumps back in their seat. I think that's awesome. Or let me give you an example of like a reboot, like Star Trek. When one of the characters comes out for the first time, I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. And everybody comes and, Scotty! I just think that's just the coolest thing in the world. But what I'm saying is when the audience is really into the movie. Not necessarily interrupting the movie, but just into the movie. I just think that is just amazing. So, with that being said, I'm going to throw a name at you. We're going to ask Scotty this name here in a few minutes and see if he knows who it is. Jack London. Yeah, if I throw that name at you, that ring a bell? Is a great American author, isn't it? Did you know that Jack London won his first writing contest in his early, and I mean early, 20s? Keziah is jealous over here that I'm holding Shiloh on camera. Anyway, Jack London won one of his first writing competitions. He won $25. Yeah, so I'm sure after that, it just went up after that, didn't it? But anyway, he won $25, and all he had was an 8th grade education and the experiences of his life up to that point. So you got to think, man, that's pretty cool. That guy had some pretty good life experiences to be writing books like that. Over 50 books to his credit. And one of them just happens to be in our local area in the theaters right now. And it's called The Call of the Wild. I'm sure you've heard of it. Now, I went out to one of my favorite theaters, Tri-City Cinema, Tri-City 7, and got to see this movie. I wanted to see if the trailer, the hype of the trailer, if the movie lived up to the hype of the trailer. And sure enough, boy, it did. Ford's co-star is a huge, and I mean huge, dog. I didn't want to say that, make anybody jealous. Anyway, he's a huge dog named Buck. Okay? And I mean, Buck is, he could give Lassie a run for her money in the smarts department. That's how smart this dog is. But at first, Buck is a kind of a spoiled, loving, mischievous. He's the pet of a local judge, and he's pretty much got the world at his fingertips until he gets stolen and shipped up to Alaska, which is not good. You see, the movie is set during the time of the gold rush, and dogs the size of Buck, well, there's not a whole lot of dogs the size of Buck, but large dogs fetch a good price, unfortunately. So, if I told you just that, if I just stopped right there, and you saw the trailers, you'd pretty well know that this movie is about Buck adjusting to those circumstances and surroundings, and also about him meeting Harrison Ford. Shiloh is actually asleep, so I'm going to try to balance him on my leg, but he is actually out. All right, so he's adjusting. Buck is adjusting. You get that from the trailers. You get that from what I've told you. You get that if you've seen read the book. But here's what you don't know. And here's what you got to go to the movies to see. Number one, the absolute beautiful, gorgeous scenery of Alaska, if that's where it was actually shot. But anyway, that's the pretense of the movie. So it is unbelievably breathtaking. The other thing that you got to figure out, what is it that Buck is running towards, and what is it that Harrison Ford is running away from? There's two things in this movie. Oh, Scotty, I was telling Scotty that the theater was just full of laughter and people laughing at different things that Buck did or Harrison Ford said or just different characters in the movie. They were also in awe. We talk about the setting and the environment and the scenery. Just, oh my gosh, people just, you know, I mean, it was just a gorgeous movie. You have to go see it. But the other thing, I actually noticed there was a couple people, now I mean more than one or two at Tri-Cities, that were actually sobbing. I mean, actually crying during this movie. Now, this movie's pretty emotional as well. I talked to some people after the movie, which I like to do every now and then. If you see me with my little notepad, you know it's me. You may not know the ugly mug that you see in front of you, but you might know it's me by the notebook that I carry. So I did ask a couple people, and I said, what did you think of the movie? So they gave me a couple one-liners. And you got to see the movie to get this, so remember these when you go see the movie. All of the gold in the world can't bring back the dead. You got to figure out why somebody would say that. Sometimes to find yourself, you have to go off the map. You'll see a scene in the movie that explains that, and the movie itself explains that as well. Sometimes you have to go off the map to find yourself and find where you're actually at. Everybody that I talked to said the movie was either a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. So this is a movie that you're going to want to go see this weekend. Call of the Wild. This is a Jack London book. Harrison Ford stars in it with Buck. Go out to Tri-Cities. Go out there and tell Robin and the gang that I reviewed this movie and you wanted to come see it. And Shiloh's ready to go to bed, and I'm ready to get to work and get on the air with this movie review. So thank you guys for watching Movies with Bruce. Run to the theater. See the Call of the Wild this weekend. There's a couple good movies coming out too. Check your listings. And we'll see you soon. Give me 5 minutes or a little more today, and I'll give you a great movie. Take care, guys. God bless, and have a great weekend.